How are you? The strange
Finally, it
stuff,
worked.
this Facebook, I don't know.
But you came,
Okay,
you came.
nice.
How you doing, my brothers? You finally made it. You won the championship belt.
But I don't know how, I just did the whole
Yeah,
join thing
yeah.
didn't pop up and all, I don't know.
Unbelievable work I've seen in any boxing YouTube in years, in years. So what got you started? What made you started your channel?
Yeah, I liked watching boxing and somehow, some way, I started watching with Muhammad Ali, and I also then started watching some older fights, and I thought, why I kind of watch these fights like in the same quality as like the newer Ali fights from the 70s and so on.
Right, right,
And so I
right.
then
And,
read
and,
into
and you
some
you
different
got
techniques and down the rabbit hole it goes, I say.
and
So
what got you of doing it like in from like black and white and you because I know you like to do like a lot of like editing and a lot
mhm.
of artwork and everything like that. What made you do that kind of stuff? And like, did you ever went to like any tech school or any art school or anything like that? What's your how you managed to do all of that like with the editing and all that?
Yeah, I don't go to not from school like that, just learning it from the internet. It's a lot of stuff out there to learn and so on. So
Wow, that's
there's a
amazing.
lot,
That's
for example, with the whole AI thing, there's a lot of tools that you can now use, and it's very easy. And now you basically just have to have some basic editing skills and know how to put stuff together, and then you can work on this project.
yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And like, how do you manage to like? Because I know you see like channels like Sweet Fights. We're gonna touch
Yeah,
on that because I know you we on channels like like Vintage Boxing or or Smooth Legends and those kind of YouTube channels. So you just change the upscale, edit the quality, and just like that quick, like you just made it, colorized it, and
I
made it.
mean you
What?
would have to render a lot of it on the PC, and I know that Move Legends does more of the upscaling and so on. I normally don't upscale all the film I have because of time issues, because it takes a lot of time and computing power to do so. But for the great ones, I do it on the PC. Mostly the upscaling one is mostly computer work.
Mm.
And with the coloring, you can go through different uh, methods, I say. And there are a few ones like they're just um, made by the AI, and then you take that footage and use it as a color. What's the word in English? It's
Color,
a
a
layer. It's
scale,
a color
layout. Yeah,
layer, and you pull it
yeah.
on, and then you work on with that and try to manually improve what the AI has done, basically. And
Shit.
because if you would have to do it all manually, all yourself, this would take you years. It's like if you have to do every frame yourself, then that's long. So you need some kind of a software like that. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to maybe make some kind of a videos with on how this whole process is in more detail, because I don't think most would be interested in that, and those who will not hear enough from this. So I will make something about this in the future. Something.
that's amazing. And what got you started in collaborate? Because I know you do a podcast with Rocky Marciano Brazil,
Yeah. Same
and
with
doing all
you.
the
It's
Rocky Marciano documentaries.
just writing, and just
Yeah, yeah,
reach
that
out and
that
then say, oh, okay, let's do something. And I think that's
yeah,
great stuff.
yeah. I appreciate it, my brother. And I love your work. I was watching like a couple of your videos, like your whole colorization of Marciano and Walcott. I
Yeah,
loved
this is
it.
the one I did the most work on,
Yeah,
manual
I
work
I
on.
can tell you did it, and I can tell you did it like with so much passion to it. I really, man, I loved it and really
Yeah.
enjoyed the way you did it in terms of putting
Yeah, did like
in the
the
upscale, using the footage of the ESPN classics and
yeah,
all that. There's a couple of fights that you definitely, I mean, like I mentioned on Discord, the Carmen Basilio Gene Fulmer fights,
yeah.
those would be insane with those color upscales,
There are
especially the
many
second fight.
things, of course, you can that would
And
be
check it,
worthy to work
first.
on in the
I was,
future.
my thought process, and I will say publicly, like one of the ideas I would love to do with you is to cover, because I love the history of obviously Puerto Rican boxing and Cuban boxing. As I want to give a shout out to my buddy Enrique Sinosa. If you guys haven't got this book, Hard Leather, the history of Cuban boxing, this is a must have, a must have book. And like he mentioned all the Cuban fighters, and here's Jess Willard here, ironically enough, since I know you do a lot of
Yeah, he fought in Havana in
in
1915 against Jack
1915.
Johnson then.
John Johnson, yep,
Yeah,
that's right. And
but
then
I think you're probably more well read in boxing than me, probably. I say.
oh yeah,
I just
yeah,
work on the films and
yeah, and do
I
all
don't.
yeah. So I was always really like to do something with the history of Puerto Rican fighters. Like Sisto Escobar and Jose Torres, and
Yeah,
the fight, even up to the modern fighters of today, doing something like that. Colorizing, especially the Sisto Escobar fights, because those are like 30s, and you do a lot of upscale colorization on that, and that'd be good too to do a piece, since you did one on Floyd Patterson. You can do one as well on Jose Torres. That's the other custom model
yeah,
pupil. And his story is amazing, because he went from being a world champion, light heavyweight champion, to being a writer, one of the best essayist writers
okay,
and historians
really.
ever.
And I
He's
never knew the story behind him. I just saw them fight. Okay, cool. I
Yeah,
didn't
he's
expect that.
he's from Puerto Rico. He trained. He believe it or not, to give you a backstory, I'll give you a backstory real quick. And it's actually in one of the sit down interviews he has with Bill Fox, which is the video that he's with Jake LaMotta, Floyd Patterson, Rocky Graziano, and they're sitting together. And Jose Torres tells the story of how he started in boxing, because boxing was not really his favorite sport. His first sport was actually baseball.
Mm,
Baseball was always number
yeah,
one in Puerto Rico. But then he went to the army. This was during World War II, I'm assuming, or the Korean War. And then he basically found the boxing team. He decided, because he was a cook for a long time, and he wanted to get into more, active sports in the military, in the army. So that's when he found the boxing team, and that's when he joined the boxing team. And he was an
okay.
Olympian, actually, believe it or not, like Floyd. They were both Olympians, actually. He tried to represent, I think, the U.S. in, I believe it was in 52, 52 or 50, that 52 team. But there's no films out there. Again, there's no films out there of him when he was an Olympian, or actually I think he joined in 56. He joined in 56. And then when he became an Olympian, and then after Olympian, that's when he went to New York and then joined
Yeah.
Customado and Floyd.
So
That's
and
when
many of the old fighters like that, they don't really have
a
boxing
lot of
as like
film.
their
Yeah.
favorite sport or
That's
so,
like
so,
that's like
and they just
I was just
started it
watching.
because of money and so on.
Right, right, right. And I was just watching your video on the IQ, your
The
ring
ring
IQ of
IQ,
fighting.
yeah.
Oh my God.
That
Oh
was
my
a
God. I
the
love that
fun
video.
talk.
That was a fun. And you can make a case, because I know you. I agree with you with Pernell. Pernell Whitaker. He's without a doubt one of the most smartest, intelligent
Yeah,
fighters out there.
yeah.
How will you rank? How will you rank guys like Roy Jones Jr.? Roy Jones was. Roy Jones has
I
a.
mean, Roy Jones is more athletic, gifted, not really like a boxing type. So I wouldn't, again, no, wouldn't say that he's a ring smart fighter. So because people who are ring smart, they have a longer career, and even when they're older and
Right.
their athletic
Well,
gifts decline, they can still fight, like Bernard Hopkins, or I don't know, like George Foreman had some. He later became better schooled and had a better ring
yeah,
IQ
you
later
can
on,
say,
and
yeah,
so he
you
can,
can say
even
the
though
second.
he has his age, he can still fight.
exactly. I was gonna say that. Yeah, even though the second time he was more of a defensive fighter,
Yeah.
because early in his career, in the
He wasn't
Afro,
technical, it's just
yeah, he was
destroyer.
more just punch destroying, one punch shot. Like
Yeah.
he represents like the Marciano, like the fighters of the 50s, or they're just like one punch heavyweights,
Yeah.
where they like to like slug and dig in and go inside the pocket. But like Purnell was very smart in the ring defensively.
Hmm.
You can make a case that there were two fights that he was robbed. You can say his fight with Oscar and his fight with Chavez.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
Chavez one, he also like he's very not just smart with just moving, also outthinking him in on the inside, and this is what
right?
impresses me about
And
him.
then,
And where you can say not just on the outside, he knows how to not get hit, but also how to maneuver on the inside to have the dominant position and so on. That's
and then
what I like.
Oscar De La Hoya,
Yeah,
like he in that particular fight, that he was moving up his head like this, and
yeah,
then Oscar could like try to like attack him as much as he can. Although it was a very close fight, and I mean they even to a point where they did a sit down interview on HBO
yeah.
and even talked about that fight. It was like so close that you can make a case that Whitaker was robbing both of those fights.
I
But
think especially in
I say they
the
did
Oscar
because
one,
yeah, exactly. I
because
say
Oscar
Roy
has
Jones,
been getting a lot of favorable decisions in his time.
like that Chavez and Oscar fight was very, very interesting because he wanted to brutally show that he's Mexican enough to fight against the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. Many people consider Chavez. Many people consider Salvador Sanchez. If Salvador Sanchez hadn't died, you can make the argument that he would have been like the greatest Mexican fighter out there.
Yeah,
You know, because he fought Wilfredo Gomez. He fought Asuma Nelson. I love Asuma Nelson. He fought Juan Laporte. He basically cleaned out his division. That's how great Salvador Sanchez was. The history of boxing from Puerto Rico versus Mexico. That kind of history as well. And it goes back to again Sisto Escobar.
mm.
That's a great fighter that to do a great color upscale. I can help you with stuff like that.
Yeah. You
On
need
ideas
to
like that.
send me some stuff. I'm not so well
Oh yeah.
read on these Puerto Rican fighters. I don't know them
Oh yeah.
that well.
Oh yeah. I got you. Yeah,
What
yeah,
do you
yeah.
think on
So
Canelo? You think he's on the level of like Chavez, or is he on his way to get there? Because he's a
I
very strong resume,
I
I think.
honestly think my thing with Canelo. See, man, how should I explain this? My thing on Canelo is that two things. He's up there. I think he's top three greatest Mexican fighters up there because again, he is the undisputed champion. We're a unique time in boxing where we have multiple undisputed champions, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to be. He's definitely. I think he's.
Also in
I
the
think
four
because of that
belt era
alone,
and
he's the
so on, I
greatest.
don't think that Chavez had four belts to claim. So
Yeah, exactly. Because he only won in terms of the sanctioning belts. He only won what, two sanctioning body belts, the
yeah,
BC and the
yeah.
and the BL. So that was like the big difference of Chavez and Canelo. Canelo has won all the. Not to mention that he went up to 175 and defeated Sergey Kovalev. Yes, it was a Sergey Kovalev past his prime because, of course, this was a Kovalev post Andre Ward fights. It wasn't the same after that. If this was pre Andre Ward fight, especially the second Andre Ward fight, Kovalev, then it would have been different. But because Canelo, he's he's always been a strong fighter
Yeah, at
inside,
the Kovalev one
very
is
deep in the pocket.
you can see
When he
that
fought Triple
this
G,
already on the limits of what he can do as a fighter like Canelo. Like he's moving all up in weights, and
yeah.
now he's found his match at light heavyweight.
Well, yeah, exactly, and a very good and a very stacked. Because I would love I think this time if he stays focused and more disciplined, if the second Bivol fight does happen,
Hmm.
I have to see him having a chance against Bivol more so than the first fight.
But
If
he
Canelo,
would have to throw more punches. I don't see him winning the same style. He would have to
exactly,
change his.
he has to change his style. Exactly,
He
he's got to
throws
change
like
his
20
style.
punches in round. He won't win this one. It's going to it's going the full distance, and he's not gonna win this with
Exactly.
28 punches
He's
around
not
him.
gonna knock him out per se. And again, he has to stay outside, like outside of the pocket. Because if he's going deep inside in the pocket, Bivol can crush him. Bivol can legit destroy him inside. Because again, Canelo style is like he likes to. Again, all Mexican fighters, they like to dig the body and they like to be inside the pocket. They don't stand on space. They don't go away from the distance where they just pop in the jab. No, they like to go deep inside and go attack and attack and attack.
Yeah.
You know, they that's the Mexican style of fighting, and they like to brawl. Mexican fighters are always want to brawl. They like to get bloody. They brawl. They're not as defensive minded as
he would need to hurt Bivol in early.
And he needs to.
Getting on the ropes and all.
The same way that he destroys.
He needs to jab in this one.
The same way that he destroys Kovalev, he's got to be at that same mindset against Bivol. It's up here.
He would have the power, I think, but Bivol is too smart to. I think Bivol is just gonna outpoint him again if they fight.
In terms of right now in boxing, who you think has the best IQ now?
Terence Crawford, I think. Crawford.
Ooh.
It's
I agree. Yeah. That was an incredible fight, man. Wow.
That was such a dominant performance against Spence. I don't see anyone do anything else similar to that.
His timing of how he handles Spence's right hand and his counters, because what killed Spence was the counters. He got tired being counterpunched. Actually, Terence Crawford did exactly what Mayweather did to Canelo, because Canelo got tired getting counterpunched most of the time.
I think didn't he drop him in the third round or so? I think, but it wasn't like that he was getting tired. It's just Crawford was just so much faster in thinking.
Faster and
in everything.
Just on counter. Faster on counter punching alone.
Because
again, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like Crawford is like a, how you call it, a reversed southpaw, what you call it. Like he's like a natural right-hander, and he was throwing like the southpaw punching hand, and then his southpaw jab, and he hit him hard with that. Spence didn't see that. Never.
Naona, in a way, has also a very great ring IQ.
Yeah.
The way that he played against Stephen Fulton is
they both did
an amazing
very great in the undisputed fights. This was much less competitive than I thought it would be, especially the Crawford ones. I actually picked Spence. I thought that he would have much more success with the jab and the pressure and all that.
Right, and I love the way that he spaced
really
out.
Surprised that he couldn't do anything about it.
Right hand. So that performance was just dominant performance, man. And again, I feel bad for Errol Spence. I don't know about you, but I personally don't think they should have a rematch. You know, I could see.
Will they have a rematch? I'm not. I didn't update on this one. Will they have a rematch? From what I've heard, they don't, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think they should have a rematch.
Spence would want this second time.
Yeah, I don't.
And how will they sell this fight? Like they can't sell this.
I don't think he hasn't recovered from his accident, really.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, because the Ugas fight, like Ugas really showed the blueprint to Crawford of how to really attack Spence, and not knowing that. And again, what's cool about that, and I love Terence Crawford's interview with Joe Rogan when he says that he doesn't study film like day and night. He watches all the fight and he just adjusts his own adjustments. He creates his own adjustments of how he analyzes a fighter. And again, that's a unique style. That's a chess fighter is that they want you to commit. Let me ask you this, because I know this is a big debate amongst everyone right now.
The low blow.
Here's my take on this.
I like the video you did on the low blow. I saw that one.
Oh, you liked it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's conclusive enough to think.
So if it's above the waist here, then if it's below the belly button,
Yeah,
that is
but it
considered
was
hold.
clearly below. When it was live and before the replay, I thought like, wow, he hit him then. But then they showed the replay and okay, it's calm down. It's not. It's just a low blow, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I thought because of this part.
Yeah,
Because
you saw that
of
the
because
right
of that
uppercut
part of the
from from
yeah,
Dubois. He tried to land it like I think an around earlier, and he
yeah,
hit him somewhere strangely under the arm or something.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he. It's interesting that he basically showed you how to beat Usyk in the fight,
yeah,
but Dubois wasn't really smart enough to solve it. He had all
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
tools to beat him, but he is just
It just
not a very
He just couldn't
intelligent
help, and then
character.
he didn't commit at the end in the ninth round.
Uh,
He didn't commit, and like prior to that, I scorecarded 79 to
he should
71
have
to
jumped on him after the low blow, but he didn't.
yeah, but he didn't. He
Yeah,
didn't.
stupid.
That's it is, and I also question a little bit of the referee's decision there. And again, it was a little blow, but I didn't like that he wanted to give him an extra 5 minutes when Usyk
I mean
clearly
the
told
five
him, "I'm
minutes is
ready."
standard, but after what I think is a bit of a bonus thing from the referees when he said, "Okay, I'm ready," and the ref, "Oh no, take your time, take your time. We're gonna give you another minute. Take your time."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Should combat sports should have instant replay to help
yeah.
the
I think in this instant it would have been a good thing, to be honest. But
yeah,
because if I was the referee in this situation, the ref was positioned at an angle where he wouldn't have seen that this was a low blow. He wasn't in the right angle to see that,
yeah,
but he was just going off Usyk, grabbing his balls and screaming that this is a low blow, and he should have had some kind of system to check if it was really a low blow.
yeah,
Because Usyk
exactly.
in the later rounds was getting hurt with some body blows, not like hard hurt, but decent shot to the body, and he
Right.
was signaling to the ref, "Oh, this is a low blow," but it wasn't. He just was hurt from that.
That's what I think the question of a
I
low
mean,
blow.
in the end of the day, it was a bit of a strange event. It was very exciting,
Yeah, it
but strange
was.
event.
But we are hopefully, if once Fury is done with Francis Ngannou, forever gonna be
I'm not
that,
sure if we're
that
gonna get this, but maybe yes. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
sure.
next well, it's
I
sad, man,
think
because
one of them is
that
gonna
was the
lose before
only
we get the undisputed one.
that was the only world heavyweight title fight this year, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
right.
That's sad. But that lets you know that again, the other lighter divisions are shining. Because I won't put you in a spot, but right now, your top five best fighters pound for pound.
I've gone through them recently. I've said I think I thought Crawford won, Inoue, Usyk, uh, and then who I've got. Who is this guy? Devin Haney is good. And number five, I don't know. Can't think. Maybe Canelo. Yeah, then maybe Canelo 5 or so, or
I
Canelo
will
4 and
put
Haney 5. I don't know.
yeah, I will put Crawford number one, Haney number two, Inoue number three,
Hmm.
Fury number four. The thing is, I don't want to put Charlo on my pound for pound
Yeah,
list
I
there.
think Canelo because at the end of the day he's
It's,
still around and
it's Canelo. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Canelo number five. In fact, I'm gonna actually put Canelo on the top three with Crawford and Haney right now. It's Crawford, Haney, Canelo, Inoue, Fury.
but I think from pound for pound ranking you would think, do you go by what they've achieved? Yeah, oder?
Yeah, I mean it's
I mean, I
the
think Usyk did more than Fury if you go pound for pound. I think.
and I will put Usyk in my top 10. I will put
I
Usyk in my
would pick
top
Fury
10.
in the top 5 if he beats Usyk,
Yeah,
but
it's
till
just
then, I can't give him that spot. Because because Tyson Fury is like the guy who fights one good opponent, then fights two bad tomato can fighters, then fights one
yeah,
good fighter, and I
But
don't
remember
like
too, he's the
that.
lineal heavyweight champion. He's the lineal heavyweight champion. So
Fury.
you have to, yeah, Fury's the lineal heavyweight champion. He beat Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah,
He
but
beat
it's not
Vladimir
really that important.
Klitschko. The Dillian White. Yeah, again, you have to understand the lineage of the heavyweight title. Which, by the way, shout out to Rami from Rami's Corner. He has an incredible video on the history of the
Mm-hmm.
lineage. That's the reason why I think he has a better resume than Anthony Joshua. Yeah,
What's your
yeah,
what's
yeah. I have
your
to,
what's your what's your favorite fighter?
oof. Oh man. Well, our friend, shout out to DC Owens, asked me that same
Yeah.
question, and like it's tough. Uh, that question is tough because I change it from time to time. Like I will say like five different fighters. It depends. Like I will say that I would like Tyson, because he's from Brownsville, Brooklyn. So I would lean towards Tyson, but I love Oscar De La Hoya. I love Tito Trinidad. Miguel Cotto, Wilfredo Gomez, all my Puerto Rican fighters. So I love obviously Ali, Joe Louis, uh, Smoking Joe Frazier, George Foreman.
Yeah.
I love all the fighters. I love all the fighters. I can't. I'm not a fan of a specific. I mean, if you
Yeah.
if you ask me by era, you can say, can we say that in the '90s, you had so many great fighters, like top 10 that were great. Like Roy was great. Lennox Lewis was great. Oscar was great. Pernell Whitaker was great. Tito Trinidad was great.
Okay.
That
So
you
it's
know
a
what I
hard
mean. But
question for you.
it it it
I
really is.
think
What
for
who's
me,
your
for
favorite?
me, I think it's easy to pick Tyson. I think it's the
So you
films I've most seen, and i- if I
so you pick
think
Tyson, yeah.
I'm gonna watch one fight only this night and have this is my only fight I watch this evening as a fight, then I can picture like watching Tyson Roddick or something like that, like
Yeah,
just
yeah. And let me tell you
entertainment
something
throughout.
too. Have you ever gotten a text from Mike Tyson? Because again, Mike Tyson, though these films that you've done color
Mm,
upscales, these are the films that Tyson studied
yeah.
with Cuss.
The
So
Jack Dempsey ones, maybe he
yes,
should see this one, I think. But no, he
yeah.
hasn't,
And again,
unfortunately.
this man right here, his Patreon is amazing too. Like, and like, you want to talk about your announcement, like with
Uh,
Sweet
so
Fights?
yeah, I mean, the next big video I'm gonna upload on the channel is like a fight between Joe Louis and Joe Walcott, and I'm
Oh, nice.
gonna put all the gears on that film and go. I will have I've written and emailed with the guy behind the channel with Sweet Fights, and he has
Yeah,
many channels under that name. And we will work on some Lewis films and try to get out some stuff here.
that's good. That's good. But then I remember um, when I was in elementary, middle school, I used to watch ESPN Classic with my grandmother's house. So one of the shows was the show Main Events with Rocky Marciano. That's my
Yeah, I
first.
didn't know them.
And I used to watch those fights with Sugar Ray Robinson, black and white, which of course you since did a great colorization upscale with those fights. I'm gonna watch the Basilio ones, the Sugar Ray
Yeah,
Carmen
they are great.
Basilio. I'm gonna watch those.
They're very entertaining.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna watch those. I'm gonna watch those fights. But yeah, like the because I know you do some skill with the main event Rocky
Yeah,
Marciano shows,
yeah,
right?
they're also cool. I like the commentary for Marciano. It's surprising,
Yeah,
to be
oh
honest.
my God.
That's
He, he's such a
that's some cool stuff.
he's such a genius when it comes to commentary, man. You know what? My
I never
fantasy
thought that he
commentary.
would be that good. Honestly, I was
Yeah,
surprised that he was as good at
yep.
that.
It sucks, man, because I miss HBO boxing, dude. You
Yeah,
know, I,
if you see
it's
the
such an
HBO
incredible
ones,
era.
they're so much more professional. It's amazing.
Let me ask you this: like, who what would be your fantasy fight? For example, like Floyd versus Sugar Ray Leonard.
Maybe I don't know if you heard this before, but I would think what would be cool is Floyd Mayweather against Tommy Hearns.
Oh,
This is
oh my God.
this is something I would want to see because I want to see if Mayweather can fight someone bigger than himself. This is what I want to see.
Yeah.
And I have to I suspected that Hearns would win, and I want to see Mayweather get beat. So
Let me ask
that's what I
you this:
pick.
which version of Tommy Hearns do you want to see? Do you want to see Tommy Hearns the war against Marvin Hagler? Tommy Hearns,
but the Hearns who fought Leonard, the boxer one.
the first Leonard fight. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think this is all wrong for Mayweather.
doesn't know how to block a jab using the Philly show.
Yeah, he could do it, but Hearns has his arms are just too long. He would just
Way too long. Plus his right
too
hand is
long.
deadly. Like, when he knocked down Pepino Cuevas, and Pepino went like this, you know, with that. Yeah, that. Ooh, me, I would say, love to see honestly Wilfredo Gomez against Canelo.
Who you think wins this? What do you think happens?
I think that fight alone, stylistically, could be I think that fight would definitely go the distance if it would have been that way because.
And then Canelo on points.
Gomez is more spaced out, you know, especially he has a strong left hook because most Puerto Rican fighters always love to do a good left hook to the body or left hook to the chin. And I think that and again both fighters can dig inside. I think stylistically since Gomez is more of a spread out distance fighter, it'll be harder a little bit for Canelo. But again, Canelo is also good with his footwork. He does great, incredible work on his footwork. So, especially digging inside the body, digging inside the pocket. So, that would be a good fight. I mean, I'll be biased and say that I might pick Wilfredo Gomez, but I think Canelo might win via point.
That's why it's a fantasy matchup. But of course, the obvious one is this one here over there, the Tyson Ali one.
Yeah.
Or something like Marciano Ali, but these are the well-known ones, I say.
The question is, which version of the two you want to have? Do you want the Ali pre?
I think it would be. I think honestly, I think the older Ali, like from the 70s. No, like from my instinct, I would tell me this guy from the 70s, who beat maybe a bit before he beat Foreman a few years earlier against the Tyson, like before he lost to Douglas or something like that, like the Tyson that fought Frank Bruno. So I think this would be when I would match them both.
I would say the Ali that fought Cleveland Williams against the Tyson that fought.
It's the best speed he had ever had.
Ali's performance against Cleveland Williams is legendary, and his domination over Ernie Terrell was amazing too.
Yeah,
that fight was amazing.
Terrell was a very good fighter. Very good.
Yeah, he was. He was also like I always thought that the Frazier fights were tough, but dude, I always thought that Ali and George Chuvalo. George Chuvalo's a very good.
The body shots he hurt
body shots that
Ali a lot in this one.
And that fights, and plus George Chuvalo, other than Jake LaMotta, has two of the greatest chins in my humble opinion.
You can't put anything in this guy.
Yeah, that dude eats shots like there's no tomorrow. I'm surprised, like he's still, man. It's hard. It's hard without HBO, man.
No, I don't like what I don't like about the Zone is that they are so cheap.
The Zone,
the cheapest production that you can imagine in every possible way.
Like when I remember when I was watching the was it the first Usyk Joshua fight? The camera angles were so weird, dude.
Not just that, everything was weird. The audio wasn't matching.
It was
weird stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they did a good job. Like when Golden Boy does the stuff on the Zone, it's more so like And here's the problem too. And I want to talk to you about this. What's your take on performance enhancing fighters? We saw Dylan White got suspended. What's your take on that? Should fighters has to take the test prior to the fight? Can they have to be clean? Because again, like they don't want to put more stuff to their body than they already
I think they should be tested throughout the year. I think that's the best not just before the fight, because trading on PEDs is also a big advantage.
Yeah, I believe so too.
You can be
agree.
clean on the month or week of the fight, but if you have PEDs in your system the whole year and just train 50% better, then it's also advantage, a cheating
Yeah,
advantage.
yeah, I agree with you,
So they
buddy.
should randomly test throughout the entire year, but of course they don't do that with the cash cow fighters and so on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also too, like, what's your take on the whole thing with like cash weight and all of that? Is
I never liked these catch weights, but at the end of the day,
and
if the
again, it
money
goes
is there, we can't do anything about it, and the sanctioning
exactly. It goes
body will do what the sanctioning body does, and they make up the rules as they go. And
Do you do you agree most of the time with the sanctioning body rules?
I mean, they have no rules. They
It's
have.
just the thing is just sometimes it's just too stupid with the too many belts, like the regular belt, the silver belt,
I mean,
like
there's just for sanctioning fees. There's not a reason
that's what
they
it is.
exist, just sanction fees.
That's what it is. I agree. That's just like too many sanctioning fees and like everybody can be a champion.
Yeah,
Pretty much anybody can be a champion if you are in your sanctioning body ranking, because even the number 2 or number 3 in the WBC can become the silver belt or the regular or the international.
yeah.
And I'm like, this it's too,
I mean,
too many belts.
it's made for sanctioning fees and getting the normal viewers who don't know much about boxing get excited about their local hero getting some kind of a belt, and oh, look at our champion, and they come buy a ticket. It's something
That's true. And
like
I,
that.
I
Get the
always,
casual
I always,
fans buying.
again, the casual fans doesn't understand unless you're a core
They,
boxing fan to understand like
it's
these
too
sanctioning fees.
complicated.
Yeah,
It's
way
actually
too
very
complicated.
easy to see what belts are the important ones. But if you have no clue and you see hundred of belts, you think, oh, okay, 100 champions. Yeah, right. This is a champion. That's a champion. But
Yeah,
they're just some diamond WBC something belt or something.
yeah. This is just
In the end of the day, if you know boxing, this is just for
that's the
you collect those for mandatory spots.
yeah.
If you get
That's
this, then
that's
you
another
go
stupid
up in the
thing.
ranking.
I'm sorry, the Charlo and Canelo fight, which is gonna happen in September 30th. Once the bell rings, Jermell Charlo is no longer gonna be the WBO champion. Tim Tszyu gonna automatically. And again, I understand rules are rules, but at the same time, you have to fight in the states to earn just a mandatory spot. Because if you don't fight, you can. It's okay to fight anywhere around
Mm-hmm.
internationally, and that's good. But if you don't fight in the states and stake claim to your mandatory, because again, the casual fans are not going to understand what's going on. They're still going
Yeah.
to say that Charlo's still going to be the undisputed champion. But if Tim Tszyu doesn't show up in the fight and challenges the mandatory for Charlo's belt, I mean, and again,
Then he lost the
the
belt.
rules
Yeah.
are rules. The rules exactly. The rules are rules because Charlo hasn't fought in a year. That's
Yeah.
against the
Then
rules.
they I don't know. Maybe they should just pay them the guy. I haven't followed that situation, but normally they have some kind of a step aside money, and they pay the guy just.
That ha ha.
And did
That
they
right
do
there,
that?
you nail on the head on that. That's what that's. I was just now you say that, I was just thinking of that. I was like, isn't there like kind of like a kind of like a step aside fee? Because again, this is the first time, like you mentioned in one of your videos, because you said that we're in a new golden era of the sport where you have so many undisputed
Yeah.
champions.
Yeah.
Yet the mandatories are staying off the side is okay, but dude, let best fight the best.
Yes.
Let the best fight the best. That's what's great because
I think
I'm a part of the 90s.
Mhm.
As we are both part of the 90s, and at the time in the 90s, the WBO wasn't even a sanctioning body until 2004 with Hopkins.
Yeah.
Remember, it was the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF. I always felt to me that the Ring Magazine belt was the belt, was the championship belt, because when, for example, Henry Armstrong, which you do some great upscale coloring of him, he was three division champion simultaneously.
Yeah, he was
We're not talking
crazy.
about the sanctioning, and we're not talking about the sanctioning body belts. We're talking about the Ring magazine. That to me is the true championship boxing belt. I just felt like the sanctioning bodies was a way to like politic themselves. What's your future plans for apart from your Sweet Fights project that you're doing? What is
Hmm.
your future plan for both of your channels?
Mostly for the Patreon stuff, and then I've uploaded after a few months. I upload them so other people can watch them.
And then your time travel in color is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
Like
too much.
you have a lot of good history stuff in color, which that's amazing. So, by the way, question: when is the second part of the Floyd documentary comes out?
Oh, let's see about that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's too much. I have too much stuff going on, but this year,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
all I
So
can tell you.
that's coming. That's coming real soon, folks. So
All
be on the
right.
lookout for that, man.
I think now's the time period to like recover a lot of films and restore them, and because if we wait like another 50 years, a lot of like fight films that might be still around, like the Herrick Reps and all of that, and there's
Yeah,
some of early Marciano fights and Dempsey fights that we know that they have been televised and filmed. They must be somewhere out there, and right now they're not available. But I think if this project grows bigger, um, I with hopefully a lot of other people might be able to recover some films and get them into the best quality possible, and maybe
I've heard.
with all the technology right now, and maybe get improve the coloring and all of that.
Oh, I love this quote by Andre. One day, some heavy grab films will be revealed. Hopefully,
Yeah, I
hopefully.
think so
I
too,
love to see that.
but it will take. I
So
don't know
that
what is up with these guys. Just either just put them in the public and let everybody see, or just sell
yes.
them if you, because once you're dead, somebody cleans your house and then the films are all gone forever. Just some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rich people who have bought up the film or something.
Well, Alex, I appreciate you coming in, man. I'm sorry about the whole technical difficulties, but
Yeah, yeah,
we
me
had a
too.
good conversation. But Alex, take care, my brother.
I
You have a blessed
thank you,
day, man.
for inviting me. Thank you for reaching out,
Oh,
and
anytime,
it was a
my brother.
pleasurable discussion. We'll
It was,
maybe
my
have
friend.
some
So you have a
of
good one.
these in the future, and but maybe
Yes.
plan some topics or so. But it's a
Yeah,
great
yeah, yeah.
discussion.
Definitely, definitely for sure. Definitely for sure. So you have a good one, my friend.
I see you next time, and bye. Thank you.
Take care.